Hey, 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 what's going on, Christy? How are you this evening?
I'm good. Hello, everybody. How's everybody?
It is great to be here, guys. Thank you for joining the X's and O's with Extra Mile. We appreciate you joining us this evening. We are extremely excited to have our guest with us. I am ecstatic because I love their product line. I have used almost, I think, everything in his product line, which has performed to its highest potential, and the results are just absolutely amazing. And there's lots of different videos that are out there, especially we'll kind of look hopefully at his website as well, so you can kind of see some of his YouTube pages and him demonstrating the products as well of the lithium product line. And if you guys don't know, the evening we're going to be spending time with Bill, which is the president and the founder and owner of Lithium Auto Care, which we are extremely excited and honored to have him spend the evening with us. And we're going to be respectful of his time. So we'll try to keep it within an hour so that everyone can continue to do the things they need to do on the weekend. I know it's a weekend, a holiday weekend too. People probably have things going on for Monday as well. So Christy, how have you been doing? I know you got a lot going on. You got your podcast, which is awesome. You're knocking it out of the park. And I'm
Thank
sure
you.
you're doing other things and with school, and you had a little one that wasn't doing so well. So I'm glad
Yeah.
he's doing
Yeah.
this.
It's been good, but it's been busy, man. You know how life goes.
I can completely understand. I can
No, but
completely
I'm happy to
understand.
be here. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us. As I always say, Christy is awesome. It's an honor to have her with us on the podcast. She brings great energy. She's awesome. She brings a lot of knowledge, and it's just awesome to have her because she brings a different perspective and things to the podcast and the detailing, which I enjoy, and I know everyone else does in the group that's watching. So, without further ado, guys, we really are honored, like I said, to have Bill from Lithium Auto Care join us. And we can't wait to get into getting to know Bill and also where he initially started when it came to the detailing industry and then leading into his product line, which is absolutely one of the top products I feel in the detail industry. And I think it is absolutely amazing the products that he has. He has such a large product line that
Yeah.
can be used for anybody. I don't feel like it's exclusive to just the professional detailer. I think it's user friendly, which makes it very, very easy for those detailer and those individuals looking for products that are outstanding and the quality level of the products.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely a slept on brand. I feel like more people need to be talking about lithium.
I
Um,
agree. I agree. So without further ado, let's add Bill here. There he is, our man, Bill. How are you, Bill?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you doing?
We're doing awesome. We really appreciate you spending your evening as a busy man that you are and running such an incredible program and obviously product line that you have. We really appreciate you spending your evening, especially a weekend, holiday weekend. I'm sure people have plans for being off on Monday. So we really appreciate your time and energy that you're spending with us this evening. So we appreciate that a lot. So
Oh, I appreciate being here, guys, and just love it and been a big fan for a while. So when you asked me, I was all excited.
It's obviously an honor for me because I've never had the opportunity to physically talk to you or have interaction with you. It's been a lot of conversing through text messages and emails and things like that, and Instagram and social media. And like I said, every bit of the conversation and interaction that I've had with you has been nothing but professional and pleasure to speak to you. You've been extremely just very upfront when it comes to your products, very knowledgeable, very friendly, and the fact that the fact that the products itself speak for itself. That's one thing that I've always said. I mean, I've used almost everything in your product line. There may be one or two that I haven't had a chance to use, but I continue to use them because of the fact of what the results bring when using these products. And I think, Christy, I think you hit it on the head. You said, what did you say earlier before we brought Bill on? I feel the product line.
I said it's a slept on brand. I feel like more people should be talking about lithium. And not just for the products, but I mean, you build the person, behind the products. It's just, it's all over. There's nothing I haven't tried from lithium that isn't an amazing product. There's not one thing. Now, granted, I have not tried the entire line, but I've tried quite a few. And again, I just think that they are products that I'm surprised that more people don't talk about lithium, honestly.
Christy, that's the sweetest thing ever. Thank you.
I'm serious.
It's because we're the worst marketers on the planet. That's why.
No,
No.
you know what I think well, and sorry, Matt, if I
No, you're good.
would start here, but you were on Detailing Dogmas podcast. And
Yeah.
you said something that really kind of hit home with this whole thing is you aren't out here trying to please every Joe. Like you're not making 37,000 products with, 37,000 SKUs to, your products they're limited in terms of how many products you have, but they are all great. Like you don't just put something out for the heck of it. You don't just change a scent and call it a new product. Like you stand behind what you have. They are, they are made with love and care, and you're more about, the products that you have than about the commercial, just, you're not a chemical guys. You know what I mean? And I kind of think that maybe most people right now, the market is so saturated. People are coming out with tons and tons of things, and most things that we've already seen. You know what I mean? I don't know if that made sense. I kind of just talked in circles.
No, you didn't.
No.
I think you make great points, and so
I agree. I couldn't agree anymore. I think the fact that the product, I don't feel like it gets the recognition it should. I use it, like I said, very often, and we can talk about many of the products that I use on a daily basis. I've got quite a bit of content and videos that I've done in some past and continue to do, just because I feel the product needs to be in more detailers' hands. I really do. And that's not just saying that because Bill's here and you're on our podcast. I really feel that the detailers are really missing out on many of these products that could really enhance their details results, their product, their time, their time, and the energy they're putting into these jobs because of the fact of how effective the products are. And I think that's something that, when you say that the product has been slept on or sleeped on or whatever the case may be, that's the part I feel that people aren't given the opportunity. And I think the more that people are able to demonstrate that, they're going to quickly see the results. And that's why I continue to try to do as much as I can, because I think I enjoy it. The fragrance of the products are amazing. The results are amazing. And man, it cuts your time just in half. I mean, I swear up and down. I mean, one of my big gurus of lithium is those cleaning cubes. I mean, that's just one of many of the product lines that I just couldn't even speak highly enough about. From using it on steering wheels to gear clusters to, the amount of time it takes off of the grime and grit and the things that you normally would have to sit there and spend hours on trying to get brushes and other chemicals and stuff. You take that and it's just amazing how quickly and the results that you get by using some of those products. And those are things that I think people need to understand, that it could enhance your time, make you more sufficient. And that's why I think that it's important that we really talk about your products and diving into those products as well. But I think what's more important, I know that you may have shared, but some people may know, but I think it's important to know who Bill is, because I think we know you've got an incredible product line. I think you've got obviously the products that you have, the results that it provides, but I think it's important to know who's behind all this. Because that's what's important. I think that can help people to see and value and respect and understand the profit, the value behind the product itself when using it, and understanding where the history and where all that began. So Christy asked a question as well, but I would like to know, Bill, when did the whole detailing adventure begin for you? Really kind of starting stages of when you started to show an interest or spark an interest. Was it back in childhood? Was it further once you've gotten into it, or where did that all start for you?
Well, be careful what you ask for, Matt. We'll try to make it painless.
No, I love it.
But really, it started for me when I was a teenager, and I would buy these cars, and really they were POSs, and I would do everything possible to make the girls like them. Like, no, that's really not a piece of crap. That's really pretty. I'd spend hours working on them, just polishing them and doing all kinds of things. And then all of a sudden tuition would be due and I'd have to sell it and go pay the tuition office. And then all of a sudden I would start all over again. But it really got me into the love of turning things around and taking something that needed just a little love and making it look exceptional. And so I started playing around with, melting waxes and seeing what I could do to be better. Because back in those days, you either, you went in and bought a $2.99 tin and you had three choices of brands and you put them on. And that sort of led me to, just being curious why things were how they were. And I had a fly fishing buddy who was a chemist, and we would go fishing all the time. And I'd ask him questions. He'd be like, just kind of blowing me off and just fish. Shush, I don't want to talk right now about this stuff. I'd be like, okay, why is it that when I put on this wax, it goes on like butter, and then I let it sit for 10 minutes and it's like taking cement off? And I go, I put so much effort into it and stuff. And he goes, well, that's because carnauba wax is as hard as a brick. And I'm like, really? I thought it came in flakes and stuff. And he's like, no, it's in bricks. And to emulsify it, companies use turpentines and solvents and all these other things. And once they put that in there, it turns it into a nice paste. But if you've ever put gasoline, for example, on your hands, when it flashes off, it takes all the oils off your hands and your skin is left white. It looks chalky. And he said, so when those solvents flash into the air, they leave that solid brick behind. And so you're in there trying to take that off. And so I just, kept fishing, kept asking questions, and ran home. Couldn't wait to get off the river. Just wanted to get home and get out the frying pan and mixing stuff. And so I started just studying what I could emulsify that wouldn't explode in my house when I was heating it up, and really just started mixing with essential oils basically, and came up with the idea to use avocado seed oil because I had all these antioxidant qualities and all these things I was trying to get out of my terribly painted cars that I love so much. And so it turns out I made several batches. They'd work for a minute, and then the next morning I'd come down and they'd be all separated and globulated. So I went back to my buddy and I'm like, help me. And he gave me the big run through of biological chemistry versus non-biological and how I'm doing it all wrong. But he started mixing and playing around with it for me. And he sent me a little jar and I used it. And I was like, dude, that was unbelievable. Yeah, when we go fishing again? I'm like, no, we got to talk about this. So we kind of got rolling on it, and it was just such a great product. You would put it on and it would just slide on. I could walk away for 3 hours and come back and it would slide right off. And the great thing though that I noticed is when solvents evaporate, they take everything with them.
Yep.
And by leaving an essential oil like avocado seed oil, it really kind of hydrated the paint. And back in those days, it was all single stage paint. It's not to beat myself too much, but you would get these paints that would just oxidize so quickly, and it would really do a great job on them. And so I called the product Autoderm, and we put it in a little tube. It was like a squeeze tube, like you would do lotion or something, because I really wanted that metaphor. But back in the early 2000s, late 90s, you weren't distributing anywhere unless you were in Pep Boys or Checker or O'Reilly. And not only did I have no clue how to get a hold of these buyers and get in front of them, they would, there was $19 for a tube of this stuff. And everyone's like, I can get $2.99 a turtle wax. What are you talking about? That's the I can trust. And I'm like, okay, I get it. But I couldn't stop myself. So I just started putting ads in the back of all the Porsche magazines and all the sports car magazines, just little 1x1, 2x2 ads. And it said, hydrate your paint. And that seemed to catch, that was a touch zone for these guys. They're like, hydrate my paint. Well, how do I do that? So I started selling this stuff, and I had another business going at the same time, and it was taking up the majority of my time. I had a baby coming on the way, and I'm thinking to myself, I got to decide here what I can do. And we were selling maybe 800 or 900 tubes a month out of the back of the magazines. But that
Wow.
seemed to be the cap, until we expanded the ads or we did something. I just couldn't get over that hurdle. So I was like, okay, where's my future here? And what am I going to do? I owe it to my family to get my shit together, so to speak, and figure out what I'm going to do when I grow up. So I went with my other company because I knew the distribution channels there. I knew how to get there. And I had more than one product. And one product in the whole line wasn't going to get me on anybody's shelves. And so I offered the business to a bunch of friends and said, hey, you want to take this car thing? You could probably do something. They're all like, oh, I'm busy tomorrow. I got a date, or I'm doing this. And so it just kind of, got put away. And I still have the original tube that we put together. And I wish I'm at home right now because usually I have it, it's in my office, but I put it up and that tube is about 20 years old and it still holds together and you still wax your car with it. And that's how good it worked. But after, 15 years went by, I still always played around mixing stuff and making stuff for leather and just ruining frying and pots and pans and anything I could get my hands on. And finally, the time came when my other business, I got an offer, someone wanted to buy it. And so I said, sure, sold my business. And I thought to myself, I'm going to go back to what I really love, which is detailing car products. And this, Christy, is probably not why no one ever hears of us, because I said to myself, I'm not going to hump legs anymore. I'm not going to chase this. VCs in my other, venture capitalists in my other company, and we'd gone on a big growth spurt and, trying to really make it something of value. And it was hard work. And it hurt most of the time. I wanted to quit 90% of the time. It's just like, all things holy. And so I just said, I'm going to do my art. And if someone likes it, great. And if they don't, I don't care. So that's kind of where the products came from. Is we didn't go out and say, okay, Chemical Guys or X company or Y company is selling it for $13. We got to be at $12.99 or we're never going to get any market share. We're not going to. We just made things that made a difference. When you used them, you're just like, holy crap, that is really good. And then I'd look at the price and go, oh, that is going to hurt. But that was never the objective. It was always, if I want to make my car better, I might have to spend a few more dollars to do it. But we never went after that. How do you make it shiny? How do you get the gloss meter out? Let's see what it can do. Yep. We always thought in terms of how do we make it healthy? How do we bring back and put back into your paint, put back into the plastics and into the leather what nature's taken out of them, basically. And that was the whole idea behind it, was how do you reverse the aging? Or how do you stop it from aging in the first place? So everything we sourced was, okay, what does that do? What is paint really made of? What does it lose when the UV rays hit it? How does it react in the heat? And so shine just really kind of became a byproduct of what we were trying to achieve. And we never really looked at it that way. We never thought, well, what should leather look like? We thought, how should it feel? What should we be replacing? And so that's kind of how the whole genesis of the thing came about. And then it started growing. We found our little niche of tribe people that were like, wow, this is amazing. And then it started turning into a business again. And I'm like, shit, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to hang out at Cars and Coffee and dupe someone's hood. There you go. There's the story.
That's great. No, that's awesome. So going back, so your interest of coming up in chemistry, of coming up with products that are going to figure out how you can reserve vehicles and doing the products that you do, was something that was a major interest to you at a younger age, besides the fact of having your hot rods or your vehicles looking good for the ladies. That was probably one of the important things. But it's very interesting that you say that, because I think a lot of people, when they're talking about detail products, they're just looking at, okay, what's going to make the car look shiny. They don't look at it in the fact of the mindset of what's going to reserve the car, what's going to keep the product, what initially caused the vehicle to oxidize, or what it caused the plastic to lose its color. I think that's something that, people are just looking for just a quick fix of putting something on and not understanding the product and what it's going to do, which is, I think it's important that people understand that, because, and the fact of what products you're using, and longevity is going to make your client, make you and your job much easier. But I think it's, like you said earlier, Christy, I think that there's such a flood of products out there, and people just, I think get overwhelmed with the products, and they don't really look at kind of the story behind the product, or how the product initially should be used or properly used, and the longevity of the product. Which is interesting that, you talked about that earlier, on the fact of, Bill, on why you decided that you wanted to get into the product industry, what you were trying to do, and the purpose behind it. So I guess my question to you as well, and Christy, feel free to intervene too, but so from that point on, you got into lithium once you started getting into developing these products and finding that obviously they were working, they were successful. Is that when you transitioned into creating the lithium, or was there a stage in between that and getting into the lithium product line?
Well, after I got out of my other company, I just wanted to relax for a while. But like my wife said, that's going to last about a week. And she was wrong, though. It took 10 days. And pretty soon I'm out just playing. That was where I decompressed, is out in the garage. I would just go out there and be in the moment, just focusing on, well, what did that do? And I was so interested in cause and effect. And as I started playing around with these things, I just thought, there's really opportunity here. But once again, distribution channels are difficult for this kind of product.
Sure.
Retail products are difficult by nature to distribute, and you just have such few options to do it. And so, part of, I think, that our brand is not as big or as heard of is the fact that we never really chased anybody. We didn't go after detailers, and a lot of the detailers love using our products. And they're like, dude, that was amazing stuff. And then I tell them the price, and they're like, dude, get out of my shop. You're like, yeah, okay. But it cost what it cost. And so
sure.
I just wasn't interested in doing it for another business. And so if it wasn't going to make my cars look different and be better, I just didn't want to play around with it. So then we kind of get into the whole thing of, it's growing, it's doing everything, and it's pretty cutthroat. But we ran into this wave of, white label, just boom, explosion of so many brands and so many things. I'm just like, wow. And I'd seen that in my other company before, where all of a sudden everyone thought they found this missing nugget. They flooded the market and then realized, geez, we're kind of late, and the market isn't as big as we thought it was. And then they fade away, but then they disrupt a lot of things on their way in and out, and so this kind of the boom that this place is, this industry's been in the last 3 years, that it doesn't matter. You can have your own brand no matter what you want to do. And that's fantastic. But at the same time, it makes the consumer absolutely overwhelmed. And it makes it very difficult to have brand loyalty. It makes it difficult, because most detail products are going to last the average guy 6 months to a year. And he'll just keep stacking the newest and greatest on top of it. And so that's when we decided we're going to run our own race and just do what we do. And you love it or you hate it, and nothing in between, we hope.
So, Bill, you said that the very first product that you created was the wax, correct? In the tube. So you currently don't sell a wax, correct?
We did. We discontinued it, though.
Okay, I was just going to ask, did it not translate with new technology, or what was the reason you?
It's a phenomenal product, Christy, and we really liked it. It just wasn't moving. Yeah, everyone wants ceramic, graphene, and unobtainium mixed with everything, and you're like, well, all right, if that's what, and that kind of held us back too, because we'd been playing with graphene and graphene oxide for probably 3 years before it ever became a thing, but we couldn't figure out where it added value. We're just like, God, I don't get it. And then we got better at refining it and getting it to emulsify and blend with it. And then we still kind of scratched our heads. But then when we started doing plastic stuff, doing plastics with it, all of a sudden the light came on. wow, it really reacts well in this environment, and it really does great things. And so, some of the things that, well, we got to launch 3 new products a quarter to keep people excited about us, and we've got to do this. And as long as you had products when we first launched, tons of people were going to talk about it. It was good stuff, and it was good for their channels, and it was good for us. But we just don't keep launching stuff for the sake of launching it. And that's not the way modern marketing works. It's all about the newest, greatest, and, the catchword and the buzzwords and things like that. So,
yeah.
That's a good question. Rick has a question we'll ask, so I don't want to miss too many of the questions, but Rick asked, Bill, is your take on the detailing industry in 2025, and where do you see lithium in 5 years?
Well, lithium will get through the bubble, and usually it's an evolutionary bubble where too many mammals are on the planet, so there's a mass extinction, and then the survivors come out stronger than ever. And we have the assets and the wherewithal to get through anything we decide we want to. It just comes down to, I'm no spring chicken, so it's like, how much do you have left in you? And how much do you want to fight the battle, or do you just want to wax your cars? I don't know where that sits, but the company will get through that evolutionary phase. It'll be interesting to see who the survivors are and who all of a sudden says, gee, I don't know if this is really worth it. My margins are razor thin. I have to compete. So I don't know if I answered that, Rick, in a really concise way. But I see lithium being around. We'll probably have 3 to 4 new products, but they'll be exceptional products that we really found a pain point that we wanted to solve. And I think the detailing market is going to go through a mass extinction. That's really what's going to happen. So,
do you see lithium coming out with a coating, whether it be interior or exterior? Is that something that you will work on?
We actually have a coating, Christy, and our Australian distributor has been selling it and he just keeps coming back going, I need more. We just been how do we bring value to it? The world needs another coating like it needs a hole in the head. So we'll make it we'll do it, and we'll be like, geez, that's pretty good stuff. And the detailers we work with in Salt Lake, oh, geez, dude, I need more. Yeah. And so here's what we really strive for. And it's funny because part of my ritual every day is I go to Starbucks and get a green tea, and I go to work, and then I have 6,000 green tea cups sitting that stack up in the back area where I'm always filming or doing something. So as we were making our resins and our ceramics, I was taking what was left of the sample and I was pouring them into these little cups and trying to seal them because I wanted to come back in an hour or two and try something different or whatever. And we got to the point where we had about 6 different brands plus 3 different formulas we were working on. And I don't want to make this a really long story, but I realized, oh shit, sorry for my language, I forgot all those samples because I got sidetracked and whatever. Came back the next Monday to work, and they'd all cured and gone hard. And the funny thing that we realized is we pulled up one, and I'm like, they all look so different. And one was a Chinese brand, and I went to squeeze the cup, and it literally turned to chalk, and it broke into little pieces. And I'm like, okay. And then the next one we pulled out had kind of a yellowish tint to it, but it popped out like a plug, and it looked just like the bottom of a cup. And you would look through it like, and I'm like, well, geez, you can't see much. It looked like you were looking through a kaleidoscope. And when we got to ours, because then I was curious, what's everybody's going to do, and why are they doing it? Why does it turn to chalk? Why does it do this? When I got to ours, I popped it out, and I could see through it like you were looking through like a pair of glasses. But I could see impurities in it as well. And I thought, okay, optical clarity, that's where we really need to be with this, because what are we doing? We're putting a secondary sacrificial clear coat on a car. And if it's not as good as the original clear coat, how do you expect it to refract light? How do you expect it to look great? And so we just kept going after that, just the purity of the thing. And my Australian distributor, Scott, he's just such a great guy, and he's always so hungry to just make a mark in the world. And he's like, okay, we're going to make a video and you're going to show all the, because when we do Zoom calls with our distributors, I showed them this and they're all just like, unbelievable. And you really don't know it until you see the baseline of all the other ones, that some of them are gooey and stretch, some of them break like glass. And once you see across the board, you're like, holy smokes. And I wish I was at my office, because I'd go grab some of the samples so you guys could see them, but it's pretty cool to look at. And so that's, Christy, we do have a coating. We call it hard candy. We just haven't launched it yet. We're just kind of like, we're working on it. Yeah, we got it going. Packaging's been done for a year. And,
wow.
yeah,
You got it. So if you were to, I know this question as well, but I've used quite a few different products when it comes to ceramic sealants and things like that. Orange Crush, and I mean, there's a slew we could pull up on the website to see. But what is your favorite and most glossy product that you feel that you have that will bring the most gloss to a vehicle?
I think the one I used last week. That's just, they're like kids. They rotate. Some of them, they make me happy some days, and others I'm like, oh, get out of my face. It is just, every one that I use, though, I fall in love with it again. I just kind of rotate them for different things. And we have a studio at our place, and we use it to make content with, and we use it to do other things. And when I start using them to make videos or do whatever, I just fall in love with it all over again. But I think my latest love has been the cleaning cubes. And that's because I made it to scratch an itch I had. And that was when I have a couple of older cars and stuff, and they look phenomenal inside, but then the steering wheels had this glaze over the leather that just looked, it just looked bad, and it dated the rest of the car. And we have this old Audi S5 that we always experiment on, because it's got all this leather inside. So it's kind of a beater, but we're not afraid to splash things on it or do whatever. And I just hated the glossy steering wheels. They drove me nuts. And so I just started experimenting with different things. And no matter what I did by itself, I couldn't get the look that I was after. I would heat up get these cleaners that I mixed up and heat it up in the microwave to make them hot and see if that would do anything. And just and it would help a little bit, but it just never got rid of it. Then we started playing around with melamine, and that stuff is brutal. And so we're like, okay, that's too far. And then we started coming back, and what we ended up doing was basically engineering our own version of melamine, which is blended and cut basically with urethane. So it's not as aggressive, but it does have some of the qualities. And then what we did is we took the cleaner that we inject into it, and we put lubricants and things like that in there, and conditioners, to make it very soft. I mean, on the surface, but it does the job. And when that kind of epiphany came around, it's kind of like when you see the commercial and the guy's walking down the hallway and eating peanut butter, and he clashes with the guy eating chocolate, and they both come together. It's like magic. And so you get the Reese's peanut butter cup out of the whole thing. And that's what happened with those. And we were just like, wow, this is really cool. And so now the big hurdle is you have to get over the naysayers. You're like, you can't use a damn magic sponge on your leather. Are you stupid? We're like, well, no, it's really not a magic sponge. And no, it really doesn't do this. And yeah, that's the basis of everything, but you should really just try. Oh, God, did you know anything about leather? Well, probably not as much as I should, but it works. You should. So you get over that whole, introducing the friction between a new product and the old school and the old way of doing things. And so, but
it's a great, it blows my mind every time. I mean, I did one this past week in the steering wheel. I honestly had maybe, I swear it was at least 2 inches of grease and grit and dirt all the steering wheel. And
Well, I
the
saw
amount
it.
of
It was
time
a
it
cool
took it
video.
off was just unreal. It just blew me away. I mean, like that stuff fascinates me. And the ceramic coatings and that stuff are enticing and amazing, and we do a lot of those too. But like it's the little simple things for me in detailing that blow my mind, like the cleaning cubes, like something like that that can be so powerful, that can do such an amazing job and simplify my job and making the outcome and the results look outstanding is amazing to me. Like it just completely takes me to a whole nother level where I think, okay, now I feel like this is amazing. The results are amazing, and I can go on to do something else, and I don't have to spend 40 minutes on something because this job cut down the time. So I just think it's amazing when you have products that are able to do that as well. But I mean, there's many other products I think as well. That is obviously one of the top ones. I think one of the ones that I've used, and I think Christy's used, and many people have mentioned it, is the double tap soap. Probably one of my top soaps as well. From cleaning to lubrication, the smoothness, the slickness, the smell is absolutely amazing.
Wild, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it smells so good.
It's so funny because that product too, Matt, that really is where function kind of followed form. And when we first launched it, people are putting it in their, their foam cans, and you're like, well, they all expect shaving cream to come out. And you're like, no, it doesn't, that's really not what we're trying to do here. And they're like, well, if it ain't thick and foamy, what is it? And you're like, it's easy on the paint. There's no suffocants in there that are going to dry things out. It lubricates well. It does all the things that it's supposed to do as a soap. Just because certain companies have made, great inroads on TikTok by showing you before and after of a car looking like it's just been hit with shaving cream, everyone thinks that's the idea. It's really not, though. And you can have a really bad soap that foams up, and it's not hard to make a soap foam. It's just, what are you trying to achieve? And so
Absolutely.
that's kind of where it went.
Becca, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. No, you're good.
Becca had a good question, I thought. She's saying, or asked, all the mixing, bottling, packaging, and shipping, does that all happen in the same place?
So here's a funny story, Christy. In 2019, we had rented a huge facility in West Jordan, Utah, started buying all the mixers and all this because, damn it, we were going to make it right, and we were going to do everything to the T. Hired a guy who knew it heads down, okay, here's how you blend in quantities. Here's how you do this. And we're sitting there really with 400-gallon vats sitting, getting ready to go. Excuse me. And then this little sickness came around called COVID. And we'd been doing it for a little bit, but then all of a sudden we couldn't get any raw materials. We could not get anything. We couldn't get sprayers. We couldn't get bottles because, lo and behold, everyone who makes some kind of thing that's antimicrobial is using the same stuff we are. And so it became really hard to do. So we teamed up. Now, a lot of products like cleaning cubes and trim cubes and some of the other, like the ceramics and stuff, we have to make them in-house because they're so proprietary. Nobody really knows how to make them. And there's really no clean way to make them. We've ruined a lot of centrifuge pumps and a lot of things. Hey, will you pump this through and see if we can make it more efficient? And it just hardens and crystallizes. But so the things that were easier to make, we farmed them out with our formulas and said, here's the specs, here's what we need to do. And then they started running out of raw materials. And we're like, oh, geez. So we just would go to China and say, how many bottles can we get from you? And then we'd order these bottles and they'd be crap. And we'd order sprayers and we'd get them, and we took crap for those forever. Your sprayers suck. Your products. We're like, okay, we had to buy 25,000 of them, and we don't want to send them to a landfill. What do you do with them?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, suffer through it. Okay, buddy, pour it into the microfiber and use it that way. We're kind of stuck here. Did you guys know we're in the middle of, COVID-19 right now, and things are tough. So we kind of just went there. So now currently we make about 40% of the stuff in-house, and 60% of it is done outside, just because we still aren't efficient enough to make it right and to do it in the quantities that we need it in. And so the stuff that we are the only ones that can do it, that's the way it is.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Fair enough. Yes.
So, question on the product. So, how many people are working with you, Bill? Like in the operation, daily operations, typically that are working where you're at?
It varies as it gets, busier during the season, off season, how much inventories we have, but we can go from 6 to 8 people. And then plus we have our partners who bottle stuff for us. And so, but I try to keep it lean. I'm over the big teams of people and but you can do a lot with today's, efficiencies. You can make a lot of products. So
that's good. That's good. Titan Tim, shine your light detailing. He wants to know.
Hello, Tim. How are you?
He wants to know. Give your highest gloss on the paint of a vehicle. What product do you have that will on the paint will give it the highest gloss?
Well, it depends. Usually, if we want turbo gloss, we stack stuff, and that's the way we would do it. But Tim knows. He and I have been in these for so long. But ceramic slam really is one
that's a good one.
Take it to the top. But then color crush, they're two different things. The ceramic slam has SiO2 in it to a high degree, so it's not as easy to work with as it would be a more cut version like color crush. But color crush has aminopolymers in it. So what happens is if you take ceramic slam, put it on the paint, let it cure, get rid of it, let it sit for 12 hours or so, then you put a couple of coats of color crush on it. They stack in such a way that it's amazing, because ceramic really isn't that smooth microscopically speaking. It looks like a nonstick frying pan, really. And so when you put those polymers on top of it, mixed with the SiO2 and other things in there, they just kind of make the surface so flat that it refracts light. Like, it's unbelievable what you can get out of it. And I get in trouble a lot at home because half the cars are done and the other halves aren't. Not meaning one car's done and the other one's not. It means half the car. So, about 2 months ago, my wife, I went out and did her steering wheel, and I was like, "Babe, see what your man did to the wheel?" She's like, "Come on, you didn't see the steering wheel?" She goes, "One side looks shiny," and I didn't know what the hell you did. And I'm like, "No, come on." And she goes, "And by the way, will you do the other half of my hood?" It looks so stupid because we cut it in half and we try things all the time. And to this day, I think her car's only half done. So it's kind of, but that's the way
I think I almost like the same way. I feel like I go halfway on some of the products just so I can demonstrate, because sometimes it's hard to get a whole car done. I mean, if you're demonstrating or trying to use different products, it definitely, you end up doing a quarter panel, or you do part or half of a hood and then come back and look and see what it does. So it definitely can be challenging when you're demonstrating and showing the products. But I always like to do giveaways. So I would like to do some giveaways on my part that I will be sending out to those in the group. So usually we'll ask a question and see who the first person is that answers the question. It can be pretty much what we've discussed, some of the conversation that we've had, and then we can discuss. So I guess the first would be figuring out what we'd like to give out. Bill, what would you like for me to give out? If there's a product that we'd like to demonstrate or get demonstrated more on the detail side, is there a product that you would like me to give away for the first giveaway?
Let's do those cleaning cubes and get some people indoctrinated and
okay.
Really
I like it.
What's there? So
I like it. So, Christy, do you have a question? You want to ask a question?
Sure. Let's see. When Bill went home and started playing around with his first wax, he said that there was a certain kind of oil that he used. What was that oil? What kind of oil did he use? He said it. Well, I'm not going to say any more than that. I'll give it away. What kind of oil did he say he used?
And this is for the...
I think Humberto.
Oh, Humberto, you better know it, buddy.
avocado.
Berto, you are the man. You get the cleaning cube. So those that are that win the giveaways, this is the first one. If you could send me your information, I think I will have it. It's going to be scrolling on the bottom here. my information there. It'll have my email and my phone number, so you can text me or you can email me your information where I can ship that stuff out to. So if you can do that, that would be awesome, and then I will be able to get that out. So
we know Humberto very well. He's a good man.
He is the man and the first to be at everything. It was absolutely an honor to meet him at the MTE in Florida this past a week and a half ago, wherever it's been. First time I was able to meet with him, and we spent most of the week with him, and it was awesome. Very knowledgeable. It was just so cool to learn from him and listen to him, and just the knowledge he has and the experience that he's been able to do. And it was just fun. We took some classes together and spent some time having dinner, and just fun along many others that were there. So it was.
He's been to Salt Lake before too, and I totally enjoyed getting to know him. He's just such a good man.
That is so cool. So are you still residing? You're in Salt Lake City, or you're outside in Utah?
We are in a suburb called Sandy.
Oh, I know exactly where Sandy is.
Yeah.
Yep. I have some friends that live in Sandy or have lived there, and friends and family that lived in Provo. I've had them all over the place in Utah. So,
Bill, what is the shelf life of your trim cubes?
The trim cubes now, Christy, that's not a good question. No, never.
Very good question.
Good question. So we never knew what the shelf life was on them. And so it was a real problem because we mixed the formula so it was perfect, what we thought would be great. And they either started expanding and puffing up like a bag of chips, and then they would stay wet forever. And as we adjusted the formula and started doing things, we could get the packaging to stay that way, but then they would dry out. And we didn't know why, because they were basically in an airtight, non-porous packaging, but they would start to cure. And so we would be like, okay, what do we do now? And we tested them on everything except for shelf life. And we're like, that's a problem. So we ended up taking that formula and tweaking it about 13 times until we got it right. And now I'm happy to say we have trim cubes that have been sitting in our facility, getting heated up and cooled down in cycles for probably close to 9 months. And you can tell them they're perfect.
Nice.
And oh boy, that was a nightmare though. And I thank you for bringing that back up now. Just kidding.
It's funny. That's a good question.
In the chat. So
yeah, that's just so funny because I got more people going, these are dry. And I'm like, how is that possible? And we had some that were sitting around for 3 months and they'd be fine. And so we never knew. And we tried to degas them. We tried everything to figure it out. And we're like, son of a bee. And that's part of our history. That and bad sprayers, there's just those things, the shit show that goes on behind the curtain. Like, why?
Becky had a good question too. She wanted to know the difference between the avalanche and the mudslide.
So mudslide is one thing that we make that is solvent based. And we didn't really want to go that direction, but the product kind of just kept reoccurring. Every time we'd try to put it away, someone would go, I need some of that X42 that you're making. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So to answer Becca's question, it is a solvent-based graphene spray, and the Avalanche is a polymer-based. So it's not going to last as long. It's a little bit easier. It's easier on the environment. It's easier on everything. But the mudslide is one of those, wow, that's pretty intense results. And so they work well together. But the Avalanche sort of came about as a favor to a friend. We didn't really even mean to make it, but we have a friend who owns a power sports store, and I'll make the story short because a lot of people have heard it. But he came to me and said, come outside. And I'm like, no, it's cold and it's January. He's like, no, you got to check this out. And they race snowmobiles as part of their their marketing deal is they race their own snowmobiles. And as the snowmobiles, to make a long story short, would collect, they'd do them, they'd start to get heavy towards the end of the heats because they'd collect snow and ice and everything would stick to them and they become harder to steer and control. So what we did is he said, I heard you make some pretty cool stuff. And I was like, well, yeah, Brian, I'll go check it out and we'll see what we can do. I went back in the house and I didn't really think much about it. Then I was laying in bed that night and I started thinking, wow, that one formula that we made a while ago, but we didn't really know what it was for. We just dinking around. I go, that would probably work. So I went in, didn't have half the stuff I needed to mix it up, ordered it, put it together, and then took it over to my buddy Brian and said, here, try this. Didn't hear from him for like a month, kind of forgot about it. He pulls back up in front of my house. And once again, it's cold outside, still winter. And he goes, come out and check this out. And I'm like, okay. Kind of walk out and he goes, see that? And I'm like, what? He's like, that machine I sprayed with your product. This one I didn't. And I'm like, you're a liar. And literally the machine he had sprayed with it was perfectly clean. And the other one was caked with the slush from the road, driving it back in the trailer and the mud, everything that they'd gone through that day, it was still on there. And I'm like, get up closer. And it wasn't perfect, but it was such a discernible difference. I'm just like, wow. He goes, I need to sell that stuff. And we're like, well, we don't really make stuff for power sports. And so long story short, we ended up making it for him and then started using it on cars. And we looked up and thought, damn. And it all came because Riley, who is one of our product testers and does a lot of videos and stuff for us, he's a phenomenal detailer. He went out and hit 2 quarter pounds on my truck with the stuff after we blended some up, and he just wanted to see what it did with the black paint. And he was like, I don't know if I want to see if I love it. And literally 3 weeks later, he never told me he did this, by the way. I get out, jump out of my truck, go into the office, and I come back out and I'm thinking, damn, that quarter panel looks so good. I couldn't remember that I'd done anything to it. And I went back and I said, did anyone do something to my truck? And Riley started laughing. He goes, I was waiting for you to notice, damn it. And it really made that thing look phenomenal. And it lasted about 2.5 months and then started to fade. So it's not this spray it and forget it sort of thing. You're going to do it on a fairly regular basis, but the results are phenomenal. So
no,
that was a long answer, by the way, Becca. Sorry about that.
I think one of your other products that is the afterwash, that is extremely well used. We use it a lot here in Phoenix because of the temperatures being warm, and it allows us to give us some more time. It leaves an incredible result when it comes to the shine and the gloss. And it really is something that's very easy, smells well, again, along with all the other products. But I think that's one that is, I think, Christy, you said you've used that one too as well?
Yeah, I have. Love it. Honestly, my favorite is Hyper Cleanse. That one, I love Hyper Cleanse. I really like the Inner Space.
Inner Space is another one too.
Yeah. But the Hyper Cleanse, man, that stuff is good.
Yeah, I love it so much. And it's funny, I could fall in love with a bottle of cleaner, but back really quickly, if you go back to the Ignite, that's the first 1-star sort of review we ever got. And I look at it and I was appalled. Well, that's the best product in the world. Who would give it a 1-star? And the review was, ruined my pants. After they did it, they set their coffee on top of their car and it slid off and landed and destroyed his pants. And so he gave us a 1-star review.
Oh, that's so funny.
If you're going to get a 1-star review, I guess that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Want to know, between the ceramic slam and the mudslide, the graphene and being solvent based.
Is that the only?
Yeah.
Yeah, so ceramic slam is actually water-based.
Yeah, it's water.
Mudslide is solvent-based. And the graphene oxide that's in the mudslide as well really does well in the formula. I mean, that's where we see graphene. That's the reason why we did that product, is we just thought it does an exceptional job. So we let it ride.
Now your slick suds. Times fast. Twister, man. Slick suds. That is a graphene shampoo as well, right? And that leaves protection behind, correct? Yes.
Define protection behind.
I know, I'm
Very
asking.
Meg.
Yeah, well, the honest truth is we have never been able to make a soap that we could measurably say it left something behind.
Okay.
Because in its nature alone, it's there to clean. And it does not, and if it does leave something, it's probably not something you want. It's some suffocant residue or something like that. The reason we put the graphene in it was because, once again, we were kind of in this power sport mode of, well, that world needs its good products too. They use some pretty antiquated stuff. And the graphene oxide was really more of a lubricant than it was a leave behind sort of thing. It just made the suds, like we called it, really slick. Problem was it's suds like, it's the worst sudsing soap on the planet. And I hate to say that about one of my own products, but it's just, when you mix these things together, they have a tendency to not like bubbles. They're heavy, but they clean so well and they lubricate so well that you don't have to worry about micro scratches and things like that. And so that's sort of the reasoning behind it. But all these soaps that say, oh yeah, you can wax and wash at the same time. It doesn't work. So we very rarely have ever joined two things together and had them, the sum of the total be better than it would be using them separate. It just isn't the way chemistry works. And so I don't know.
So I have a question off kind of the detail. So when you're not engaged into the detail and the daily operation stuff, what do you do on your spare time? When I'm sure spare time is very minimum, like the rest of us, but what do you like to do? I'm curious on what you do outside detailing. I mean, I know you like cars, and that kind of got you into it. Are you still into the car thing outside the product line and things like that, or is there other hobbies that you do?
I kind of do a lot of things, but business is my real sort of hobby, so I'm kind of weird that way. I'll play golf, but I get antsy. My buddies are like, well, focus on the game, would you? It's just like with fly fishing. I'd be on the river, and fly fishing was supposed to be that. What am I doing? I'm questioning, how do you make this and how do you do that? And my buddy's like, shut up and fish. And so I guess it's kind of weird, but my favorite thing is I love to track down really kind of fun, cool cars. And I find them as far away as I can because I love to get on a plane, go up, and it's like your first date. You don't even know really. And my wife's always like, you're going to spend that kind of money on a car and you've never seen it or driven it? Yeah, isn't that cool? No. So I like to go places, pick up a car and drive it home. And I like to take my time, and I like to go see the world's biggest ball of string. And I like to go see World War II memorials. It just kind of is a decompressor for me where might be left to my own thoughts way too long, but it just gives me time to think, and I like to do it. And then I come home and think, I really don't need that, and I'll turn around and sell it. But it was the hunt that was always exciting to me. So
that's cool. So do you have family members, your children, or what? Are they engaged into the business itself? Or is it primarily you and
my son does. My son is.
I figured it was your son. I knew your son was part of it.
Yeah, he's part of it, and so we have fun working together. I don't know that families should work together, but it's so funny because he's a lot smarter than I am, and he'll, I'm used to just saying, here's the plan, here's what we're going to do, and then getting a report on, hey, here's what happened, or this worked and this didn't, and I like, hey, Josh, what happened? Oh, I thought about it. That's a really dumb idea, so I didn't do it. And you're like, really? So that's kind of the dynamics of working with family.
I can understand that can be challenging. Christy, I know you got to go in an hour, so I wanted to do another giveaway, and I know I want to be cautious of Bill's time too. So I want to do another giveaway, and I think it would be good to do two giveaways. I know a lot of people have been talking about the the mudslide, the avalanche, but I really like the inner space. I think that would be a good one for people to try too. I don't know.
love that.
It's just,
Such an
I think that would
underrated
be,
product. It's so good.
yeah. So, Bill, I'm going to have you ask a question, if you don't mind. We'll do the inner space, and then we'll do. Let's do an exterior one. We can do like we'll do as well. Let's say we'll do mudslide, and then also. I'm trying to think. Should we do? So, what do you think, Christy? What do we do? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, maybe are you just you want to do 2 different giveaways?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I think inner space is a good one. Yeah, why not inner space and mudslide, or inner space and mudslide?
We could do a soap too. We could do with the mudslide. We can add a soap to it too. So
okay,
we can do both.
Why don't you do the double tap?
Double tap for sure. That would probably be the one. So going for the first one, Tim is ready to order mudslide. He says so. He's trying to win. So let's do the mudslide and the double tap together. And Bill, if you want to throw a question out there and see who is the winner, let's see if he can be on top of it. Look, he's ready to go, I think.
Okay, let's go with, what's the name of Tim's company? Come on, someone out there knows it, Tim.
Tim, come on, Tim, you sleeping? Oh.
Humberto knows it. I know. Come on.
I think Enthusiasts said it first.
Oh,
Shine your light detailing.
There you go. Enthusiast wins.
Enthusiast wins. Shine your light. All right. So I think I may have their information.
Oh, no, it wasn't Enthusiast. It was Westcat.
Okay.
Yes, it was Westcat on the top.
Sorry. These things end up going so fast.
They do go so fast.
Scroll. My bad, Enthusiast. I'm so sorry.
So Westcat, send me your information. We'll get it sent out to you.
We're going to send it to Enthusiast too, because he was.
Oh, yes, and that was my fault.
Let's do it. Let's give him some too.
All right. We'll send it to him as well. I know, Christy, you got to take off. I wanted to see if I could present this, just kind of show. I don't know if it'll show. I wanted to show the screen of the website so people could actually see. If you guys, this is the website. It's absolutely amazing. It's extremely easy to use. I just wanted to kind of pull it up to show you guys. It's really well put together. If you go to the information, you can go down. Bill has got some great YouTube videos showing some of his demonstrating of his products. And then obviously he has his G series, his interiors, which are awesome. And you definitely won't be disappointed when it comes to any of these products. So there's a slew of them. This ceramic graphene trim restore kit, awesome product. If you haven't used it, I've done many videos on that. That works extremely well on faded bumpers and trim levels and things like that. So he has an incredible line of products. You definitely are not going to be disappointed in anything from his tire conditioner. This crush is amazing. This is one of the ones that I really enjoy using. If you have not used, it's definitely something you want to try. And that's the afterwash I use on a regular basis for our maintenance clients and those that we're cleaning as well. So the website is awesome. If you haven't tried it, go check it out. With Lithium, the products are really good.
I'm going to say bye really quick, guys.
Yes.
I have to get going. Thank you so much.
Christy, that was awesome. Thank you.
Christy, appreciate you. Have a good night.
See you later.
See
you later.
So, guys, if you have not seen the website is very well put together. So, Bill always has very responsive. If you have questions, I mean, obviously he's on Instagram. I think the best and quickest way that he has informed me as well is through email. because it's easier for him to respond quickly to questions that you have. But the website is very simple. But I wanted to demonstrate this and just kind of show you guys what the website looked like, and kind of give you an idea of all the different product lines that he has available. Like I said, I've used pretty much all of these products. This one is great. The Hype All-Purpose Cleaner, absolutely amazing. Really, really, really. I think this is one that is not given enough credit when it comes to the product as well. This is a really, really good one. The Crush is great. And then we've talked about this quite a bit too, is the Ceramic Slam, which is awesome. These are also awesome, great products I've used as well. The Trim Restore, and we can just go on and on and on. One of the things that we talked about earlier, Christy and I, was like, is his brushes. If you want a great tool that is going to be on point, on fire, is his detail brushes. So I have got those. They are such worth every penny when it comes to the detail brushes. I know that there's a lot of detailers, Tim and many others, that Hawaii Tim and those guys that use them as well. Just great, great, great brushes. And the Westcat, I think, also uses them well. A lot of people have talked about it. So, but anyway, I wanted to kind of give a demonstrate of just the website. Like I said, if you're looking for some of the let's see if I can click on, I don't know if this will work. You can go down here and you get to see wonderful Bill. You get to see all him in action. So these are awesome videos. He demonstrates the different product lines, which are awesome to watch. I've watched all his videos because I think they're great and they're just enticing and and awesome to see. And you can see him using them in person instead of just talking about them. He's actually demonstrating them, which is a huge part too. A lot of people and a lot of product lines, they'll talk about their products, but you don't see them demonstrating or using them sometimes. And I think that kind of speaks volume for a product and the owner and the operations when they can actually demonstrate the product and show how it works. So awesome, awesome product. Any questions, like I said, you definitely cannot go wrong. And the product itself is amazing. Very easy to use. I think that's something that I really enjoy about Lithium, is that I feel that it's not complicated. I mean, there's a lot of products out there that I've used in 18 years of detailing that can be, you got to do 4 steps, or you got to do this, and you got to be careful of this, and you got to be careful what your dilution ratio is. You got to do this. And it becomes overwhelming, especially for the average person, maybe a weekend warrior or someone that's just wanting to detail on the side. To go and use that product, and not do they always have measuring cups and have this and and foam cannons and all the other tools that go about making the detail industry or detailing product simpler. So what I'm getting at is that these Lithium products are user friendly. You can pick up the bottle and not be worried about figuring out how you got to dilute them and worry about how hard it's going to be on a product. They're safe, they're easy, they're pretty much simple. Reading the product and understanding it is not difficult. And then obviously the results speak for themselves. I mean, it's extremely, extremely easy and just amazing. I mean, Bill, I've been honored to be able to use your products. I mean, I remember when I was able to use them for the first time, and I was just blown away because like I said, I've used a lot of products, and I still use a lot. I get a lot of products. I'm honored to be able to use and demonstrate a lot of products from different companies. But as Bill probably knows, I buy gallons from Bill because I like the products, and I'm getting ready to put another order because I use, like I said, the inner space in gallons, the all-purpose cleaner, the after wash. These are products that I use on a daily basis because they're just such user-friendly. The results are there. And they just are very, very good products, and they're high quality products. That's the thing. I mean, we talked a little bit about I don't like to bash on products, but you get a lot of these products that are just very marketed, in the AutoZones and the Walmarts and these things that are just massive production. And I feel like the products don't deliver what they say they're going to deliver. And that's the difference between Lithium. So hats off to you, Bill, for putting out such a great product and being able to stand behind your product, because you always, are very interactive, especially when people are posting or giving feedback. I see that your responses are there, and you're very willing to answer questions. You're not hesitant to hide behind the door or worried about, someone not liking something. You're going to obviously address it and take care of business. So, which I think is a huge thing. So,
Well, thanks, Matt. You know what? And I see all your posts, and I love them. Some days I'm having a bad day, and you'll put up a good steering wheel post, and I'm like, God love you. So I love it. I just love working with all of you guys so much that it just makes you want to do better.
It really does. It really, really does. Jamie the cleaner, thank you for joining. Thanks for being in. No, I really do. I think it's something nice to see. I know that I don't know. You've worked probably with Hawaii Tim, and Tim all the time. We're always conversation back and forth, and Tim Shiny Light Detail. We talk a lot too with the fact of products and figuring out the things that we like and that we enjoy, and we're always on the same page. We started talking, and I talked to Tim and said, dude, Phil's going to come on the show. He said, dude, what a scholar, what an honor, what a professional person. I said, dude, you're right. He is. He has been nothing but, that and more. And you've been awesome. I appreciate you allowing me to use your products and being able to demonstrate your products and continue to do because it's been fun. I love it. It makes my job more enjoyable when I don't have to sit there and bang my head against the door because the products aren't working.
Well, and if I could, Matt, I just want to put a shout out to Tim because I don't know if his colleagues know how much he loves this industry. That guy, he's just such a stand-up guy. He's one of the people that he'll hold you to the fire and say, hey, this sucks or this doesn't. And we go back and forth. We haven't since wintertime, but if we have a product problem where he'll try something, I just love him because he'll come at you until it's right. And I say come at you, it's not come at you, but just in a very professional manner. Hey, this or that. And I'm like, that's why we want you to try it, Tim. He loves what he does so much that he just makes. We kind of think of him when we make stuff. We're like, no, Tim would like this.
Yes, so, absolutely.
That's just the kind of guy he is and what he does for the industry. And like you, Matt, you guys do so much that very few people know the passion that you put in this. And who would have ever thought that cleaning your car would become a culture thing? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That people that are as passionate as you guys are, that's what makes it become that way. And when I first started doing it 20 years ago, someone didn't care if you gave them a tin of oatmeal or a tin of, you know what I mean?
You're right.
No brand loyalty. There was nothing. There was no passion behind it. It was like, run down, grab whatever was for sale, and you head back to the house before it gets dark.
Absolutely.
People, because of guys like you, guys like Tim, Humberto, all of you guys who are so involved, it really has turned it into just this ecosystem of great people. And
it is. And you know what's so funny? When I started kind of getting on the social media and doing a podcast for my first podcast, and my thing was to really develop a community. And I think, there's been lots of podcasts since then and continue to generate new podcasts and stuff. But what I love about it is, like you said, the camaraderie and the unity and the support within the detail community, from Tim to Becky to Roberto. I mean, I could go on, Westcott. I mean, there's so many people, Ghost, 6X Ghost, and Jamie the cleaner, and Eddie. I mean, so many, Rick Smith, and these guys are just so supportive on social media. And I haven't even had the opportunity to meet all of them. I got to meet Hawaii Tim and in Florida, and we spent about 2 or 3 days together when we were there at the MT. What an honor. I mean, like I said, what a scholar, what an honor, what a professional individual. And just, I love, like you said, I love that Tim is just direct. He's going to tell you he likes it or it's shit, and that's, growing up for me, growing up back east, that's the nature of growing up. Like back east, people are very direct. And sometimes when I first initially moved out west, finished up school and work, people took me as a little more abrasive, a little more aggressive. It wasn't my nature. It's just, I'm going to be very upfront. Hey, if something isn't good, I'm going to tell you it's not good, instead of sit there and sugarcoat and bounce around so that your feelings don't get hurt. And speak of the metal, the man Tim himself is in the room. Tim. But your ears must have been burning, Tim, because we've been talking about how good you are. But yeah, I think it's been awesome. It's awesome. I love the growth of the detail community. I think it continues to grow. There's so many great people out there that want everyone to win. And I think that's something that's important to me, is that we can all win. We can all be successful. We don't need to sit and put down or belittle anyone, because you know what? We can all win, because there's a million different cars. There's a million different jobs. There's so many things that we can do in the detail industry to be successful, and we can specialize in. Some people like to specialize in the interior side. I like to specialize in the exterior, or whatever it may be that works best for you. And I think that's what's important. Like you said, there's such great people. I think there's such a great support, and that's why it's important that your product gets into more people's hands. I really do. That's my goal, is people like you and many other products. I know with Jamie and some of the other people, I really like some of the things that they're doing too. And I think it's important that there's so many detailers that we aren't able to reach. Because I speak for detailers here in Phoenix. There's a ton. There's so many detailers, along with California and many other ones. So I think it's important that we get these product lines that are such at a high level and speak and results that get into these detailers' hands. And I think it's important that we do that, and we're going to continue to do that. If it's not through my podcast, it's through social media, through YouTube, and continuing to push your product, Bill, and Lithium, because I think it's well due and well deserving of being at the top with everybody else. So, and I know that, it may not be something, like you said, your social media may not be a push for you, but you got people here pushing for you. So just know you got people in your corner.
That's all we care about.
And I think that's important. Yeah, I think so. Tim talks of, there's Tim. Lithium makes outstanding products. You're right, Tim. Plus all the people in Lithium are the first-class people. All right, Tim, you take the words out of my mouth, brother. I think it's you can't say much more than that. And, it's coming from the top speaks volume. As yourself, you represent the company, and the character and the person that you are speaks volume. And if that's not even just as important, that the product works well, that you have someone that's speaking and standing behind the product, which is important, and I think that speaks and high volume for you as an individual and your character and who you are. So we appreciate you and your time and energy, Bill, that you put into it, and your products. Your products show and demonstrate, and that's what's important. It'd be different if we were using your products and we weren't getting results, and it was just purchasing products and having them on our shelves. So I've been there and done that.
Well, I appreciate that, Matt. And honestly, it is such great people that make us not launch anything until it's right, because, I know so many of them that watch your podcast, that so many people in the industry that we feel like we almost are letting friends down if it doesn't do what we say it's going to do. So that's part of why we don't launch a lot of products. We just like, geez, I don't know if I want that.
Becky had a question. Can you see the questions or no?
I can.
Okay.
I need to ask Bill about inner space. I had some overspray staining issues, but the scent I love left behind. Does this do in the hot sun? Does it do this in the hot sun? It was hot out. I don't know, Becky. Really, if you send me some photos, we can take a look, because every situation is different, and we really can't even pretend to know. Was it Alcantara? Was it, what kind of leather was it? But it doesn't have anything in it that would stain, and that's why I look at it and go, "Huh." I would love to see it, and I hope it didn't ruin anything, but never ran into that before. And you can have overspray issues with those types of things on aluminum or carbon fiber, those kind of things where you can wipe it off, but it's not made for those surfaces. But it should never, ever leave a stain of any kind.
No.
So send us a picture though, and we'll buy you a new car. It's fine.
It'll be one of the cars that Bill goes and finds, and he'll just get you a nice fancy car. It'll be the top of the line. You know, I've used, like I said, I use Interspace all the time. I'm curious too, Becky, if you could show me, because I would love to see that, because I've never. I mean, I use it here in the heat in the summertime, and I've never had a reaction. So I'd love to see what it did and maybe what happened. That would be very interesting.
Yeah, we have some pretty smart people around the office. I can show photos around, and they'll be like, "Oh, just have her hit it with the full rub on it, and it'll take it straight down." Or we can break it down by doing this. So send them over to us. Really, you can send them over to me at Lithium 50 Project, which comes straight to me, and it's lithium50project@gmail.com. It's kind of my personal super secret email where I talk to a lot of my detailer friends and stuff on. So Becky, if you could send that over to me, I'd love to talk to you about it and see what actually happened and what we can do. So,
yeah, no, that would be great, Becky. If you text me, that would be awesome. I'd love to do that. So those guys and those individuals that have won the giveaway so far, we want to do another giveaway before we leave. And I know we're over our time. I wanted to be cautious of and be respectful of Bill's time. So I wanted to do one more giveaway. We did the last one that Bill did was the double tap, and also the mudslide was the last giveaway. And then the prior one was that Christy mentioned was the I'm losing my thought what the first one was.
We did cleaning cubes.
Cleaning cubes, that's what it was. Cleaning cubes. So Roberto, I think, won the first one, and then Westcat, was it Westcat that won was the next one? I think we did. And we split it. We're going to do essentials, I think. So both those guys, everyone needs to just message me. So down on the lower part, send me a text message or email so I can get all that information. I will get them ordered. Like I said, I usually do it first thing the first of the week. I will get that stuff shipped out to you guys as quickly as I can. I would like to do another giveaway, one last one. And I know that Becky's been talking about, but I really like the Interspace product. One of my favorite ones. So I would like to do the Interspace and then the all-purpose cleaner too. Those combined, because I think they're both such incredible interior products. So we're going to team those two up. So this would be the third giveaway that we want to give away for. Tim says, "Can I buy a giveaway?" You sure can, Tim. We're not going to turn that away, Tim. So the third giveaway is going to be the Interspace and the all-purpose cleaner. So I'm trying to think of what we would like to do for the question. Let's see. This shouldn't be that hard. If those guys are, where did Bill spend time with his friend when they started and he really wanted to discuss the products and the chemicals and things like that? What were they doing together at the time when Bill would not focus on what they were showed to be doing, and he was focused on more the chemical side of things? So where were they as friends? What were they doing? Hey, look at that. First one. We got fishing, fly fishing.
Nailed it.
Which one? It's fly fishing, wasn't it? Or fishing? I guess it's
fly fishing, yeah.
Fly fishing. Fly fishing. It looks like Shine Your Light got fly fishing. No, actually, no. Oh, hold on. We got to go further. No, it went too fast. Keith. I think Keith got it. Fly fishing.
Yep.
Keith got it, and then Rick, and then it was Shine Your Light. So Keith Firebird. So
another good man who I love dearly.
Send me your information, Keith. I will get those 2 bottles sent out to you as well, so that we can get those taken to you as well. Let's see. Tim, I know you said you wanted to give a giveaway, so I was outside using Slick as suds. What about let's give away? Let's see what he said. Let's give away Crime Wave. I love the show. Okay. Tim, how would you like to give that away, Tim? You tell me what you would like to do. What about let's give this? Let's see if Tim has a way that he would like to do it. Since you're wanting to give it away, I'd like to know what you would like to do. Do you have a question, Tim, that you want to ask or anything? I know you got questions, Tim, or we can do. We can do. All right, Bill. Let's decide out of those, which one would you like to do? The ceramic slam, is that one that you think out of the ones that he's suggesting?
Any of them they want to do is fine.
Okay.
Avalanche is a great new product, though. I think
let's do the Avalanche. Let's do the Avalanche. I say we do the Avalanche. Let's do the Avalanche. So let's see. Question. On the Avalanche, let's think. Bill, do you have a question you want to ask?
I don't. Jeez. Geez, Matt, you caught me off guard. I was off in La La Land.
I can buy for a gallon giveaway. What is he? Are you talking about the Avalanche? I have two Avalanche. He says I can pay for a gallon giveaway of the Avalanche. All right.
Okay. So a Porsche is traveling from Chicago at 100 miles an hour, and it lands in Springfield 100 miles away. How long did it take to get there? Hell, I don't know what question to ask.
Let's
What's Jamie the Cleaner's new product that he came out with?
Ooh.
Let's do that one.
Yes, sir. A gallon of Avalanche. Bill will fill a gallon worth of it. let's I think I was going to ask one, but it looks like Roberto already asked a question. I was going to ask a question regarding where you were. Let's see. Let's think of another question. Got me stumped thinking. Everyone that has the question. I don't want to. Let's see. Shine your light. Let's think. What was? Oh, there you go, Tim. What was Bill's first company? Maybe that question.
Tough one.
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
I have one.
I don't know that we're going to have an answer for that.
I don't think. What city is Bill's company in? Yeah, we can do that too. That's fine. Where is? That's a good one. It'll be easy. We don't need to make it complicated. Where's Bill's company reside and operate? There we go. Roberto. He said Sandy, Utah.
That is correct, Humberto. You should know that.
Roberto, you win again. All right, Roberto, you're scoring over there. You got the cleaning cubes and Mr. Tim's gallon of the Avalanche, which is going to be awesome. So, Roberto is everywhere. Well, guys, we have been on for an hour and a half, so I know that time is precious. So, Bill, I really, really do appreciate it. I would love to have you on again in the future if time permits for you. I think it's an honor to have you here because of the fact that you were able to take time, discuss your product, discuss who you are, kind of give us a little bit story behind where Bill came from and how he came about with the lithium, because I think it's important people understand sometimes the know behind how something generates and how it comes about. I think it brings value, and people can understand the hard work and dedication and what it takes to bring a product and a successful business up front. So I think it's awesome that you have done what you've done. I think that your product is outstanding, as I mentioned before. As everyone mentions in the comments, everyone has used a large portion of your products, and I think it's speaks volume because of the fact of the product that you have. So hats off to you and what you do and what the products that you provide for the detail. I'm excited to see what products you come out with. I love trying the products. Everything that I've used on your product line has been a slam. It's been and it's worked. So I can only imagine what you got underneath your sleeve for the next one. So I'm excited to see what you got bringing to the table, to the detail community industry, because I think it will be very interesting. As you mentioned, you've got something that you've been working on for over a year, but I think you made a good comment about the fact of coatings. It's like everybody and their brother has a coating, so it's definitely difficult to just bring something out without really having the backing behind it and feeling that it's going to be something that's going to be beneficial to people. So I think it's awesome that you're working on it. I'm excited because if you do come out with one, I'm very anxious to put it to work and put it on a car. I mean, we coat quite a few cars, so I think it's important. We do a lot of the ceramic sealants too, especially for a lot of our maintenance clients. So like I said, your products when it comes to the ceramic and the Orange Crush and the ceramic slam and all the other ones that we use, awesome products. And guys, if you have not used them, you really are missing out. You really are missing out on the fact of a great product line. So some of the things that I would like to do at the end with the podcast before we separate and head out for the evening is I always like to have our guests, if they're comfortable doing it, is to share something, and it can be within the detail industry or it can be just a personal everyday living situation of a tip of advice or tip, something that someone can live and go and implement in their life, something positive, something good that will help them, help their friends, they can implement in their lives today, tomorrow, or whatever it may be. And I would encourage or ask you, if you won't mind sharing something that you have, that you live by, or that you would share with the audience and those around us that are with us for the podcast this evening. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what, if you don't mind, I would like for you to share, if you can.
Yeah. I thought you were talking to your guest and saying, I'm waiting for these words of wisdom to come across. And you're looking at me going,
I can give my word of wisdoms too, but I think it's great to hear from, usually we'll have the guests share something. And it doesn't have to be some crazy wildness, but it could be just something that you live by, or maybe a business motto or business, or a daily thing that you do with your family, friends, colleagues, whatever it may be.
First, let me apologize. Everyone,
no, you're good.
This guy's so dim-witted. I honestly thought you were asking your listeners to put in something, not me, and I'm waiting to hear. But Matt, I try to just live by everything that I do. I sort of filter it through what would my family think about if they saw me doing it. And I don't know. I've always pictured my wife and kids with everything that I say or do and think, how would they judge that? How would they look at me as they do that. And it's kind of always been my compass. And if I say something that I knew, my wife is amazing, but she'll tell it like it is, like, don't be an ass, or that was not straight as it happened, or just, and I just run it through, I call it the family filter. And would I do that? Would I not? And when I stray from something that maybe I can tell, because I wouldn't be something I would bring up around the dinner table. And that's just the way I've always gauged everything. And I don't know if it's for better or worse, but that's sort of what I do. And, and there's something that I always live by too, that's not on the same subject, but it's kind of fun, that kind of brought me through all the hardships that come with running businesses and doing whatever. And when you want to quit and you're just like, this sucks, there's got to be a better way to make a living. But, my grandpa, he used to say, he called me Buster instead of Billy. And he said, Buster, just remember something. It's better to rule in hell than serve in heaven. Because he was always, I would whine and complain, oh, this is stupid, and he'd just say, dude, what you're going through now is by your choice. And that's a far better thing than doing it for somebody else's choice. And so those are the kind of two things that have been sort of my compass as I go through. And for better or worse, I think they've guided me well. So.
No, I think you're right. I mean, I always, my thing is, I always want to leave some kind of legacy behind. And for me, I have always just been a people person. I really enjoy interaction with people. I really like to understand and get to know people. I like to know the behind the scene, to know them as an individual person. But for me, I want to be able to leave a legacy that, that I was able to teach, I was able to help, I was able to give back to the community, help improve the community. I think that's something when I leave or I finish my tour of the detailing industry, that people understand that that's something that I brought to the community, that I was able to help, I was able to enlighten, be able to bring the community together, bring detailers together, bring unity, not separation. And I think that's something that when I first started in the detail industry, that was something that I struggled with. I felt like there was a lot of separation. I felt like everyone was kind of in competition. And I feel, and as the more I got in working with other detailers and things like that, helping them understand, it is not about competition. It's about helping and building each other up, helping us to be better detailers, help us to learn, improving new tools, new methods, new ways to improve our products, improve our product line, but also our results and our clients, and bringing good services to those individuals that we're servicing as business or detailers. And I think that's what's important for me, is that I'm able to do that, and people see the value behind that. So, and the fact that everyone pretty much knows I spend a lot of time with the youth, and that's kind of my giving back to the community. I've coached football for 20 years, and that's just, I feel like if I can start at the younger age and the younger generation, and hopefully build this community and help these kids understand the value of what they can bring to the community, hard work, dedication, not feeling this entitlement and immediate gratification that things are not given to you, and there are going to be challenges and there are going to be hard times, but those are things that you learn from. You become stronger and better people by doing that. So hopefully that is something, hopefully that is something that I can leave with the community and leave behind when my time is to be done, and that people can see the value and hopefully continue that legacy and giving back to the community, especially in the detail community, because I feel I've really, I've been in it for a while, but I was in corporate for over 20 years. I traveled and did a lot, but I met a lot of people, but I really love the detail industry. I think there's such great people. And there's such a close network. I like to call them family. I call it detail family. I don't like to call them just detailers. I like to call them family, from suppliers like you and other detailers and other suppliers. I call them family members, and we're family in the community, and that's what we're here to work and support one another. So, and it's exciting and fun to know and see people succeed and find people, learning to do the detail, especially the new people that are coming in. I mean, there's still a lot of younger people that are getting into it, or people that are starting it, and helping them understand the value behind how you can be successful, and in the product lines and all the other wonderful people out there to support you to make you successful. So anyway, I can go on and on. But like I said, I really, really appreciate the opportunity to be with you, Bill. I really do. I really can't speak enough about the class and the respect and the product line and what you do to the detail community. I really appreciate what you bring to us and the quality of products that you do. I look forward to continue to working with you along with the other detailers, because I know that you're always going to continue to put out first-class products and products that are going to be amazing and perform, and that's what's important to me. And no dollar is too much when you got a product that works well for you, such as lithium. It's worth the money. It's worth the product. I know that we talked about that earlier, about people saying it's too expensive for this product and too expensive for that. But I tell you, when you get a good product in your hand and you're able to use it and you see the results, it's so worth that dollar. It's so worth that extra money. It really is. And I speak for that from experience, from buying and having many, many different products. And I always remember a term, which everyone always says, you pay for what you get. And I kind of live with that too. I'm not saying you go and live out of your means and go spend crazy money, but I'm just saying you pay for you get. You pay for cheap, you get cheap. You pay for quality, you get quality. And that's where I leave it with that comes to the product line. But I say that because lithium is that level of quality, and you pay for what you get. So if you're looking for a great product, go there, go to their website. Guys, all those individuals that were able to get those giveaways, please send me your information so that I can have that available and I can get that information out, and we can get Lithium and Bill pushing those things out for us as quickly as possible, so you guys can get those things working and pumping into your cars or your clients or whoever you're going to be using these products with. But it has been an honor, guys. It's been an honor to have you guys with us this evening. It's always awesome to have such a great detail community to support and interact and be with our guests. So again, Bill, thank you very much for your time. Hopefully you had a good time, and hopefully you will come back and join us again. Because we definitely love having our clients on, not just one time. We want to have them on more often. So hopefully that permits for you to have and come back again and spend time with us again, because we look forward to doing that. So
I'll keep coming back until they tell me to get off. So
guys, as always, we are going to end the evening. We appreciate your time and energy. Thank you so much for your time this evening and spending such quality time with us. And Bill, thank you for your awesome, courteous professionalism and your incredible products. Continue to be and do the things that you're doing, because you're putting out some crazy and amazing products, and we appreciate the quality of stuff that you're doing. Guys, look forward to our next podcast. We will send that up and update to you when the next one is coming out. It will be in a few weeks, and we will talk to you then. Have a great evening. And again, as always, happy detailing, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you so much, buddy.